I'm Mark Stewart, and this is a quick pitch to Republican decision makers in Wethersfield and Hartford, and Bloomfield and Windsor. I am a candidate in Senate District 1, and that is the district I know best, so I will kind of hone this to Senate District 1, Wethersfield and Hartford, and it is a pitch about endorsements, and mine is that strongly suggesting you to not make an endorsement, at least not yet. I've spoken with Alex. He seems like a good guy, but he's not well known by voters. I'm a good guy. I'm not well known by voters. You, decision makers, don't have to make a decision for 16 weeks. See how things play out between us and hopefully among even more than us. Because my biggest pitch is to have more people involved as potential candidates. It gets some of you and many of the people you meet who are already sort of advocates. They say good things about improving civics. Encourage them to run for something. There are many House seats in our two districts, from Windsor down to Wethersfield, that have gone unfilled. And there's school board seats next year if people want to wait. School board, mayoral seats, council seats that maybe take a year and help Alex and me and maybe some others who are cropping up to do our job by dividing Democrats. And that the message is, no matter who the Republican endorsed nominees are in September, that you want one of them, because the Democrats are doing evil. And that is my overall message when people ask about a high level. My three main messages for the more succinct district, more compact: it's choice in schools, it's crime, it is eliminating government welfare or strongly reducing it. So we can be talking about issues, and we can still continue. Alex, raise money if you want. Alex, talk to people. Absolutely. Bring in more people to your posse. Oh, by the way, this is my posse, and I just wrote to the Hartford Police Department to help us out. Mine is called Protect Our Safe, Secure Election. We are pretty sure that last election was, I won't say stolen, but at least rigged. And I don't want this happening here to Alex or me or anyone who is running against the Democrat machine. And they are, and they're good at it. And if you're not so sure, I do have a good video from Dinesh D'Souza. He and I overlapped at college, and it'd be very good for people to see. Start 15 minutes in. I'll email it to you if you want. The 2,000 mules. We don't want this happening in Hartford. We'd like it to be a standout. And the way that we do protect safe, secure elections would be vigilance by our allies and by just plain good citizens who might be independent. Hartford cops, hopefully on the lookout, and well known in advance so that maybe it deters issuance of bad ballots, harvesting of bad ballots, and the putting in that surely happened in many cities, maybe Hartford too, wouldn't have mattered in Connecticut, but maybe Hartford as well. All right, I don't say that an election was stolen in Connecticut, and it would have mattered. Again, Connecticut so far is unfortunately deep blue. Stay away from that as far as an issue. In Georgia, absolutely, the Senate elections down there were rigged, maybe stolen as well. That was on January 5th, 2021. By the way, it is also my position about Hartford being still a nice oasis from a lot of controversy. Don't go there about whether we had stolen stuff, and don't go whether we have corrupt cops or racist cops. I've known a lot of Hartford cops, not a whiff of racism among them. So it ain't happening here, and that's my stance to typically Democrats who are overly concerned. Back to, where do you put advocates, zealous ones like Alex and me? Well, it might depend, and give it 15 or 16 weeks. It might depend on how the U.S. Senate race here in Connecticut shakes out. We've got a very fervent conservative, Peter Lumage. We have a pretty well touted, fairly conservative, Leora Levy. We have moderate, Temis Clarides. Let's see how that turns out in August. It depends on the media and how Republicans are portrayed. And yes, it depends on Donald John Trump, who is involved once again. Last year, he was relatively quiet, and it was good for New Jersey and Virginia elections. I'm not sure if his interference is good for Republicans. So, to delegates, wait. See how we do. Along the way, make Democrats feel somewhat comfortable that we don't have our act together. Fine. Don't let Fonfara or McCrory in District 2 really know who's running against them. Fine. And then we come on strong in September. We can be the Lucky Strikes 5 months later. I can show you that video too if you didn't see the Kentucky Derby. I missed it. Thank you, Barry. We were riding back together from the Republican convention when the Derby went off, and he showed me just how amazing that final race was in the Kentucky Derby. Let us do our thing, and let me say who us I think should include. School board mamas. You've seen them, okay? Those who have stood up, some televised, to unaccountable, horrible school boards that have treated our kids badly. And they are, some, vocally standing up to these progressive dopes. Now, some of them probably hold the same fervor, but not yet ready to express it. We Republicans give them aid and comfort and the opportunity to speak out even more and show people who are turnable that you're not alone. The mostly African American and Latinos that I talked to in Hartford, I spent about 40 hours last week, talked to probably 100 families. Three were incontrovertible Democrats. That's it. And by the way, they were all white liberals. Not a single black family is so wedded to liberalism. They're all turnable. We got to reach them with messages that I think crime, choice in schools, ending welfare for people who don't want to work, these are good messages. And with the school moms adding to that with that fervor for their kids, don't get between, as Laura Ingraham says, an angry mom and her kid. That's how we treat bears. That's how officials should treat effusive school accountability mamas, SAMs I call them. Hey, Alex and I may be better replaced by one of them. Or somebody who actually this group nominates who are outside the state but would relocate for a few months of the year. I mean, if Laura Ingraham would like to come back to Connecticut and run for seat 1, we stand down. Even better, Candace Owens, she's from Stanford. If she said, I'd like to be in play for the Senate, oh my God, stand down, let her run, and almost certainly win. But even if we don't win, or even place, we show. And we show just how passionate and good Republicans are, not Democrats, for the kind of justice that African Americans in particular have wanted for 140 years. That we are the ones who end up opening up civil rights, improving schools with choice, that we are the ones you look towards. If Hartford ran in its 7 House districts, 7 Black and Latino school mamas, it would be remarkable. It'd be a great show. I think we'd win some seats, but not all. Okay, if we don't get a 7-some, Alex and I might be taking 1 or 2 of them. Alex, I think you should go after Vargas. Okay, you're not going to win. Not this year. But in the 6th, which basically has a new district, you show that you can stand up to the Democrat machine. In the process, you make friends, you make allies. You have an amazing issue because Vargas just inherited with redistricting Brainerd Airport, where some dopes want to just make it another dumb development that will go nowhere, like Adrian's Landing. Okay, you have a great issue for keeping Brainerd as Brainerd. I might run for the 3rd. Okay, Minnie Gonzalez is tough, but I'm willing to stand up for good principles. And it's exactly what I did last year, 2020. In part out of deference to Barbara, but also to make a stand against Matt Ritter. And I got swamped in District 1, home of Tony West End families. A lot of them are Trinity College professors and some government officials themselves. But in the process, not horrible. Matt Ritter and I at this point are actually congenial, okay? And he's going to be speaker for a long time. So not a bad ally to have. Same with Vargas. Not a bad ally to have. And in the process, you build your cred. And all of us have the chance to run together as a principled pack. If I was the Senate District 1 endorsed nominee, we're all working together, same issues, similar events. By the way, we invite Democrats to the events. They usually don't show. Incumbents are too scared, and Democrat incumbents especially are too wussy. But we put on display an empty seat that they've chosen not to show up in front of their community. I did that last year for the congressional debate. Larson didn't show. Republican Mary Fay and the Socialist Party, Green Party contender, they did, had a good debate. Gary Byron was the moderator. We can do that again here. And every Republican probably will show and show how good we are for people and let the Democrats stay away. Now, by the way, if they do show up, let them talk, okay? Because they'll say stupid things that either you have a right post for right there or just wait and hoist by their own petard later on in some press that you do. It is possible that the right move, even in September, is to not have a Republican endorsement. And again, those factors about media and Trump might play into that. Have another party, briefly, okay? Another party that is principled, that many in Hartford running for office want to buy into for now. That's not a horrible thing. Okay, a third party helped Joe Lieberman get reelected in 2006 over Ned Lamont. A third party, this was an unfortunate result, but we can control it next time. It helped Lowell Weicker get elected, became the worst governor in history. In 1854, a little group in the Midwest called Republicans became another party. And within 6 years, they elected a U.S. president. So a principled stand away, letting good people run with Republican principles in mind, but not the label and the baggage that media are going to hammer, that might be good. Running outside the established two-party system has a lot of merit in urban districts. And I do include Wethersfield as urban because so much of Wethersfield depends on Hartford, Bloomfield, and Windsor as well. Thanks for listening here. I am available if you want to vet me. Sunday night, I do a conference at 9 p.m. and Monday morning, 12 hours later at 9 a.m. Catch me then if you'd like. Otherwise, I'll see you at the convention.